Hey, Christina in class. Thanks so much for your response to my presentation, and I really thoroughly enjoyed reading your response around kind of the importance of us keeping remedial education as well as really trying to expand upon it. I think you brought up several really great points, Christina, around the economic impact for students, where this idea of pay as you go is pretty common with higher education at this point, but now students are paying and not going anywhere, right? So their first couple classes, they're paying for them, they're not getting towards their graduation or their degree, and that becomes really problematic with a lot of the stuff that's going on. And so I think your perspective on diversifying and becoming a more of a global entity by creating more opportunities for students to succeed, I think is right on board with everything else that everyone's been saying in the class. And I think there's some really important pieces there that we can't close the door to higher education anymore. We've got to keep it open. We've got to let folks come into it who are on par or very close to par so that we can have a workforce that is going to be competitive globally. I think the economic conversation to support more educations, whether it be primary educations or higher education, places with performance funding or grant funding when they are more effective at training their students. I think that's a great incentive. I think also what tends to happen with that is you're supporting the best schools and the worst schools are still struggling. So one thing that I would like to promote kind of in contrast to that or in conjunction to that more likely is why don't we highlight the schools, specifically the higher education institutions, that are really effective at remedial education. Folks who are able to get their students through at a really effective rate, who have high success rates, who have good support systems, and highlight the success that they have of that. This is a campus that welcomes students who need a little bit of assistance. And this could be very true also for the community college, where you're talking about funding and providing grants to at-risk students, but also to institutions to be more effective at this. If we need this to be a part of our system, how do we better fund it? If it's currently only representing 1% of our budgets, that's a problem when tons of students are utilizing those services and they're paying for them in some capacities out of pocket or out of grant. So I think there's some stuff there, and I love your idea of and your thoughts around really highlighting our putting to the high profile that we move out of the ivory tower and much more into we are an effective institution to make a change in students' lives through good teaching practices, through good support services. I very much feel like at UNCW we have that, but it's definitely underappreciated that we have such a great learning center and a great career center and all these other pieces to our puzzle in student affairs, but where many institutions might not have that. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that, Christina, as well as anybody else who wants to chime in. And as always, thanks so much.